Alrighty, we should be live. Sorry about that. Um, Let me know if the video quality is good. I'm not able to get over 360p on my end, but it could just be the little preview window on YouTube. I'm not sure. I'm gonna need one of you guys to let me know before I start. You guys let me know before I start. I'm gonna run and grab some water quick, and then as long as the quality's good, we'll get started in a minute. All right, we're back. I need to know, is the quality fine? I can't check on my end. I need someone to let me know in the chat. If not, then we'll just get started right away. Everyone's gonna be quiet. Looks good? All right. That's all I needed. Thank you. So, I was gonna do the clip today, but instead, just because the whole stream, I would say from just this morning in general, was pretty solid, and there's like a lot of stuff we talked about today in general. So, I would just suggest if you go to the Stat YouTube, I'm gonna actually put the link in the description. Just give me a sec. I'm just gonna go over kind of what we did for our pre-market prep today, and then we will go from there. So, on the Stat YouTube, if you go to looks like I didn't make it public. Just give me 1 second here, guys, and we'll get started. All right. So it'll be in the chat, and I'll put it in the description of this video for anyone that's watching this back afterwards. All right. Looks like we're getting some people in here. Spy's looking like it wants to drop now. Yeah. So if we go to Spy, if you're looking at it right now, does it look like it wants to drop? Yeah, but it's not. And the reason it's not, full time frame continuity. And if we're looking at this, so you can see 2 up day or 2 up hour. Next hour goes 2 up. This one goes inside. This one goes 2 up and confirms all that. So it's just slow grind into the highs. And when you're looking at stuff like this, the last time anyone actually got stopped out, you could argue off of this, yeah. But if we look down and left, right down here where we took out this previous low, that's weekly TTO and then 2-2 reversal day with Momo Hammer Day to go and confirm that. So this was the last time someone got stopped out, at least in a big way, right? So as it gets bought into these highs, you're going to run out of people to buy. Does that mean that it can't go higher. No, it just means that if it's going to continue higher, it might start grinding. If we have some news and stuff, we can get bigger candles. But when you gap up and you hold the gap and you just kind of sit the rest of the day, normally you're not going to get much, right? And if we look at the current range we're sitting in, this is your morning highs and lows. For people that trade opening range breakout, you know exactly what this looks like, right? So they're unable to get over morning highs, and they're definitely not going for the lows yet. So unless we go REV Strat hour under this stuff, we only have 26 minutes left for it to do that. We're probably going to go inside, and then the next two is going to be important. If we go two down, it has the chance to negate because you have this PMG forming. But if we go two up, it's in the time frame continuity, so it's good, but you're just going into highs, right? So not much there. Also nice to see you, T-Trades. So definitely not in the SPY today. If we go to IBM, you're going to see that one did its whole move right off the open, then nothing. You got DIA, compound inside bar, so also doing absolutely nothing. And when we say compound inside bar, from this high to this low, this is inside bar to that stuff here. So until you get out of that, that's a no-go zone. They could TTO and maybe set something up, but you have to wait and see, and then go to Qs, and you're going to see same exact deal. So is it a surprise we're not really moving much on the indexes today? No, not really, because they're just obviously not doing it. Your daily opens here, and they're just doji day. So maybe tomorrow we get some movement, but today not so much. And if you go to the pre-market, this is one of the first things that we talked about this morning. You're going to see, let me turn this off, your broadening formation. So if you draw it out on ES, it was actually stronger today. So we look from left to right. We had lower lows right here. So this goes compound outside bar of these candles back in here. And you can see higher highs again, lower lows again, then higher highs. And then look at all of this gets stuck within these candles here, and you just get chop shop. And it's because this range is small. We've already taken out all of the upside pivots on the left besides this one. So they're still gunning up for 4455, but not quite yet. You can see that did a lot of overnight move. So we had these tries for ES, which potentially comes back in the afternoon. We'll see. And then you go to NQ, which gave you a nice entry into the try. And you can see this is where the relative weakness was, because new lows, new highs, new lows again, inside 15 or and up, and there they go. And that was something we did talk about on the stream. If you go back and watch it, which it will be in the link in the description, so you can either take my word or go watch it for yourself. We were looking at these 15ers off the lows to try and go outside, which after we looked at the indexes today, what we were looking at today was things into time frame continuity, all time frames. And AI, this is obviously the big winner. And we're starting to see, you can see potentially TTOing right here, sets up 32215er back in. But why AI? Why were we looking at it? Well, if you're following me on Twitter, then you know that we're definitely looking at AI the rest of the year. And the reason that is, let me just remove everything. It goes to the yearly time frame. We are 2 year in force. And when you're doing this, it means anyone that sold last year, they're going to have to buy to close above last year's highs. And there's obviously a lot of selling. And if we now look left to the downside, once you're in all-time lows, any reversals off all-time lows, you're bottom of the broadening formation guaranteed, because that's all-time lows, right? So all-time highs is the top of your try, which means 2 year, your magnitude sits way up here at 176.77. Am I saying they're going to do that all this year? More than likely not. If they get really aggressive, they totally can, because anyone short in this, they're going to want to buy to close. And if they're not short, anyone buying to the upside aggressively, it's like you're still buying through previous pivots, previous range, and we always want to look for, are we going to go outside of the previous range? So if we're looking at AI on the year, unsure, I think that's my trail stop, yeah. So if we're looking at AI on the year, this big candle down goes 2 down right here, and then 2 reversal to the upside, so our magnitude sits here. Once we get up to 180, these 2 bars, or however many bars it takes, will be outside of this bar, so we'll get our broadening formation. And that being said, if we know the years in force, we want to look for weekly signals, monthly signals, daily signals, etc. So if we look down and left on AI, very obvious broadening formation. Why is it really obvious? Because you've taken out this high. This is a big old outside bar, which we know by definition is a try. You can see it goes inside, continuation down, continuation down. Then we go 2 reversal right here after taking out all these lows. So that 2 reversal, if you get back into this 3, you're going up there. And you can see that's exactly what happened. Now, If we go to the quarterly time frame, you're going to see that is 2 up, so trending. When you have multiple 2s in a row, it's a trend, and you can see, I can put on the strat numbers for those that don't understand what a 2 is. And we'll do that quickly. So a 2 is just a candle that takes out the previous high or low. It cannot take out both. So this one, you can see, takes out this previous candle's low. That's a 2 down. And as long as it's red, they're trending down. And you can see red, 2 down. This is all trending. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And a 2-2 reversal is when you do the opposite. So you can see they go and take out the highs. That's a 2-2 reversal right here at a $15.11 on the quarter. You can see everyone short, since it was trending downward, they had no reason to close. But once you get this 2-2 reversal, anyone that was short into this candle, they have to buy to close above 15. And anyone that was short into here, they have to buy to close guaranteed above 2359, and etc. all the way up. So when we're looking at all these previous candles here, we're thinking, well, anyone that was short into this, it could be banks, funds, whatever it is. If you look to the left and you draw these out, this is your pivot machine gun, right? So we have pivot machine gun with the year in force. And it's a pivot machine gun because everyone short, once you trigger these people, they trigger those people, which triggers those people, etc. all the way up. So once we can get into 53s, then we'd look a lot further. So understanding that, and we have full time frame continuity where the week, month, quarter, 6 month, the year, those are all bright green. As long as that's the case, we go down to the smaller time frame. Where's our actionable signal, or what made us want to be long this morning? Well, you get a 1. And this is by definition of consolidation. So if you're a breakout trader, this is your consolidation, right? And if we're looking at the 1, above that 1, you go 2. So you go from trending 2, 2, 2, 2 up. Inside, still trending because it didn't reverse here. This is the 2 up to continue this whole trend from back here, right? And this is consolidation breakout, as people will say. So we know 212, our magnitude is to take this out from our strat cheat sheet. And if you don't know the strat cheat sheet, I'll share that into the chat for you guys. And just give me 1 second to go and pull it up quickly. So, yeah, this is a simple one. I kind of like the other one more. Yeah, so I really like this one. So the strat cheat sheet, you can see 2-2 bearish reversal, entry target. And what we're looking at right now, where is it? 2-1-2 bullish reversal. So this, we're not actually trading a reversal, we're trading the measured move because it was 2 up, 1, 2 up again. And since we had magnitude, we're treating it as a reversal just for our first target. But we would ideally want to see it go further because of your time frame continuity. So when we're looking at this, you can see 2 up in red, inside bar, 2 up. This is our target right here. And the reason that is because when you're trending and you make a new high, you've done what you needed to do. And if we get to a smaller time frame now, you can see they made new lows back here compared to these lows, or you could say these lows. So you can see big doji candle. They take out the highs of it, they take out the lows of it. Now they're consolidating, that's your inside bar, and then they break higher. So we want to look for what? The new high to be made to complete this broadening formation back here, which is just your weekly magnitude. So now we've done that. It's up to the buyers. Can they continue buying to clear those pivots and reach up to the next one, 53.82. So this was our target. And with our weekly inside bar and up, we then go to the daily. What were we looking for there? We had 2 up, 1, and then 2 up. So this is your 2-1-2. It's the same thing as on the week. And that means your entry is right here if you're trading just the daily signal. That means your weekly is right here. And then weekly magnitude, we'll put it in red. So if we go down to the lower time frames, this is where time frame continuity and understanding decoupling becomes incredibly important. So when the first daily candle, or when the daily candle first begins, this is your daily open, and that's gonna be a daily open all day. So when the day and the hour open, you can see the hour opens the exact same, because if we go to the day opened right here. If we extend it, then you go in the hour, first hour of the day, they sell it down. So the important thing here is understanding those broadening formations and the decoupling. This one red hour, does not mean anything if they go and negate the daily open. And the reason we expected that, you're going to see the entries that we were looking for once we get down on the lower time frames. Once we go outside here, this is higher high and lower low. So it did what it was supposed to. It went outside bar, which is a 3, where you take out the high of the previous candle and the low of the previous candle. The reason that's important to know is because everything trades within a broadening formation, and that's where your magnitudes come from, or your targets from your strat setups. So if we know the 3 has done what it was supposed to, it's supposed to go outside bar, and it did, then on the second hour of the day, once you can see a separate hour opening, that is the decoupling between the hour candle and the daily candle, because now you have separate hourly open. And throughout the rest of the day, every single hour, you're going to have a new open. And you can see they open it, they bought it, they open it, they bought it again into our weekly magnitude. Now they're opening. This is profit taking, right? So understanding that, second hour of the day has the chance to come back through this broadening formation, this 3, and negate that, put the day in force. So the thing is, you can't expect that without a signal on the lower time frame. You can't just buy that hour once it opens. You can, but more than likely, you're not going to have a good place to put your stop or anything like that. So if we're looking at this, you need to understand where your magnitude is. So if we know the broadening formation looks like this, which we'll be able to draw it better on this time frame, we'll just draw it something like this. So if we know the broadening formation, we just went outside bar of this stuff. Now we set up a REV Strat. And the importance of a REV Strat is where the magnitude of a REV Strat is. So you can see on a bullish REV Strat, you get 1, 2 down, 2 up. First thing to explain, why is a REV Strat more important than the rest? Or at least why is it a really desirable signal? Well, more often than not, that target 1, because it's not the top of this one, it's the previous bar to that one. More often than not, your target's going to be bigger. And then second to that, you had a consolidation. You had a breakout where everyone tried to short it. That's the only way this candle goes red and gets down there, right? Someone got short, or someone sold, someone got stopped out of their longs, whatever it may be. And then that move down failed. So when you get a failed move, you get trapped participants. When you get trapped participants, you get bigger moves. So this next 2 should go instantly, because anyone that got short in this, they have to buy above that entry price, which is where we buy. And then your target is definitely up there prior to that 1 candle. So now if we're looking at this, we had that 3 on the hour, and that new hour opens right here. So on the 15-minute time frame, what do we have? We have a REV Strat. You have the inside bar, the 2 down that fails and comes back in, and then the 2 up reversal right here. And admittedly, I did not take this one because it was so inside. I said I wanted to wait for 30s. And if you go back on the stream and look, that's exactly what we talked about. So this would have been that first initial entry. And then once we see that working like this and working its way higher, we know when entries work, it will negate, or it will change what the higher time frame looks like. And that means it sets up higher time frame signals. And so from our 15er right here, the magnitude is to go up here. And the importance of that is if it goes to its magnitude, if it does that, you can see your daily open. Daily continuity changes right there, 38.40. So daily continuity will go green, and then daily signal from back here will go in force. So you can see second hour of the day decouples from the daily. New hourly participants have the chance to change the direction, which they did. And now from that 15-minute magnitude, if we go to the 30-minute time frame, you'll see they ran out of time on that 15-minute. They go inside 30. So this is the 2-1-2 reversal from your strat cheat sheet. So you can see 2-1-2 bullish reversal. This is where I got my entries today. And if we look at it, it goes instantly. Why does it go instantly? Because all the time frames are buying. 12-month, 6-month, quarter, month, week, and day. They're all buying for sure. Can't be above the open without that being the case. So understanding that, it should go instantly. And if we go down and we mark out our entry, I'll do it in blue. I'll delete this one. If you go to the 1-minute time frame, you're going to see 2, 1, 2. So you could have taken it off of the trigger here with a nice tight stop. And I believe, I'm not 100% sure what we said, but it was around 20-cent stop for this specific entry. And then you have an inside bar add. You can see they TTO, they go outside bar, and then right back up the outside bar to continue in the time frame continuity. And you can see your 2s, this is your trend. And then they stop them out. They set up your REV Strat again to go to new highs, and they do. And then they continue. So if we zoom out, why do we expect that entry to continue? Why are we not selling right when this goes 2-1-2 against us? The reason being is because we know on the weekly time frame, when that daily trigger right here goes in force, we trigger the week. Why do we expect that? Because if you go to the day, the magnitude of this 2-on-2 is to take out that weekly trigger. So we have day to trigger the week, and then we have pivot target, weekly magnitude. So very simply put, all you have to do is hold, because if we go and look at it, you're going to see 15ers all the way up. Here's your inside bar add to reverse back up, and then 15ers against after magnitude. Now, what do we expect now? We expect some people to get stopped out potentially, but we're going inside hours. So this trend's not done. You can see 3 down, 2, 2, 2, 1. So this is chopping up any of the day traders that are trying to get in there on the small time frames and don't understand the broadening formation or the higher time frame. And the important part of that hourly inside bar is that when you do that, you begin broadening formations on the smaller time frames. So your broadening formation right now looks like this. And the reason being is because this made higher highs to this stuff, this made lower lows to this stuff, and you can see all this price action within the broadening formation is stuck inside of this previous range here. So when you get that, that's when you get chop shop, which if we go to Qs, you know exactly what we're talking about. And you can see they go take out the highs, they take out the lows, lower high, lower low. This is all broadening formation stuff, just getting stuck inside of this morning range here. And we don't suggest trading in that because it's doing nothing. So that is AI. That's what we're looking for in AI. And if I would go back on the stream to go and find where we talked about it. Let's see if I can quickly find it. I'll turn off my desktop audio quickly. Yeah. So here it is. Goes the week. Last week didn't do much, so this is all compound inside bar. But you can see it is stuck inside of this stuff up here. This is what later we have a week. Got that 44.00. We already know that week, so we want to see this inside week and up to take out that 44.00. And then we also have charge point, which we've talked about that one on the monthly. It is trying to go outside month, but they took the month 2 up, so we'd prefer things to confirm the 2 up month. Go to the week 3 last week, 2 down in green coming from Monday, so 2-2 on a Tuesday. We'd want to know about that because your try looks like this. And you technically only need weekly participants to try and go negate that month. And daily 2-2 outside week sits up here at 10.07. So you got good 12% of range above, which it's not a biggest dollar move, but if this thing can retrigger the month up after stopping these guys out down here, then we can open up into some of this stuff. The only thing is a lot of these dumpster names are dumpster names. But if we look down and left, this is coming off all-time lows, which is by definition the bottom of the try, by definition exhaust. So you can see similar stuff to what we've all talked about already. And let me get this back here. So that is going into then your vol just got really low. I apologize. But hopefully you can see there that we're looking at the charge point. Yeah, no, I was just showing the recording. But so you can see on charge point, what were we talking about there? So this is our try by definition because we went outside week last week. So this made new lows to previous week lows, and this made new highs to previous week highs. Broadening formation done. Now what do we see? 2 down in green. So that's setting up an actionable signal. 2-2 on a Tuesday, which, like I said, you'd want to know about because a 2-2 on a Tuesday is the same thing as that hour decoupling, but it's on a day and week basis. So we're looking at a weekly time frame. You can see at the beginning of the week, this is your weekly open. That is going to be the daily open on Monday, which is why we don't really trade Mondays, or at least I don't. For my streaming, I'm scheduled Tuesday through Thursday, and then I'll hop on Fridays for Lotto Friday when setups look good. So this is why, because first day of the week, you don't know what they're doing because they can go and turn around on Tuesday, right? So first day of the week, they sell it down, which you could be like, oh, 3-2 week to the downside. Let me pile in, right? And they take out this pivot back here, come right back up. The reason that happens, it's because if you go lower time frames, the same thing. Hourly, first hour of the week, so week and hour and day are the exact same, right? So those daily participants are in control, or no, those weekly participants are in control. And then second hour of the day, look at negates, goes 3-2 to the upside. that now negates the daily open. So Monday goes from being big red to now a buy day, right? And you can see inside bar, 2 up, makes a new high. Did what it's supposed to. Inside bar, 2 up, continuation. And then going into today, that sets up your daily 2-2, and you get separate daily open from the week. So whatever happened on Monday, they want to either confirm or negate that. And if they confirm it, we know where they're going. They're going up at 10-10. And the reason being is because we know a 3 is a try, and we know a 2 down in green into a previous 3 is potential 3-3. The second it goes green right here at 8:39. So when you're trading Mondays, it used to be a big part of my trading Mondays, but then I decided against it. And what we would usually do is like, okay, let's find out all the outside weeks from last week, and anything trying to go 3-3, I'd want to know about that because those can happen right away. And then on Tuesday, you look for the 2-2s for the potential 3-3 on the higher time frame, and that can all be moved up to whatever time frames you're trading. So if we go on something like Apple, it's like, let's go like this. Not a 3-3, but a good example. This is a yearly time frame, so you can see this is yearly open. What happens at the yearly open? Well, you get new year, you get new quarter, you get new month. Those are all the same open. So if you go to the month, you're going to see a brand new month. They take it down, and then they fail. So here's your 2-2 to go outside on the year, and they go 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 outside year, making a new all-time high. So great example of that on any time frame. You can do it, and it works beautifully. So just a good example to show you guys there. But let's go look at charge point. So the entries we took on charge point were just based on daily and 30s. So it looks like NVIDIA is taking out previous hour lows. So now what do we know about NVIDIA? Didn't take out high day, so it's still compound inside bar, I believe. Let me check. Yeah, so NVIDIA is still compound inside bar. And after, you can see, first hour of the day, red, second hour, they negate that, go 3. And this is an entry we'll talk about. But what's happening right now? They're stopping them out. Anyone that's long into this stuff, this choppy mess, they're all gone. And we know higher time frame continuity points up. So this is now your broadening formation. Do you get actionable signals to try and come back through that later in the day? And you got a nice PMG setting up. So it might be a decent one to be looking at towards the end of the stream. We'll check it out. But let's get back to charge point. Sorry, we're jumping around a little bit. So on charge point, right at the open this morning, what we do on the opens is we look to trade a little smaller. And we've talked about the decoupling, and that's exactly why. Because at the beginning of any aggregation, you have a lot less information. I'm going to finish this thought, and then I'll answer your question on the ICT stuff. But at the beginning of the aggregation, you have a lot less information. And the reason that is because of the decoupling. It hasn't happened, right? So at the beginning of the day, we always take a little bit smaller entries. And off daily trigger, that's exactly what we did. Small entries. And you're going to see right at daily trigger, boom, they take it off. Fiver trend. So when that happens, as you get a little later in the day, once you get about the first hour done, you go from being on like the 2, 3, 5 minute time frames to hopping on like the 15s and 30s and 60s. And what we took after that was this inside 30 and up, which I just alerted not long ago that this 30 came in against us. But we took this inside 30 and up to try and take out that outside week, which right now you can see we have the 3-2 to the upside. Now I believe this is inside, so 2-1-2 back down. And they're trying to take out the other side of this 3, stop them out. And then after that happens, if we get reversals, we'll probably end up going long again to try and target that outside week. Because we have until end of day Friday for it to try and get up there if they're going to do that. So if it reverses back up, we definitely want to hop back in. And then to NVIDIA quickly, this will be the last one that we end up talking about. If we go and look at NVIDIA, and I'll show you guys my orders just because people are stingy. But if we look at NVIDIA, you can see the first hour of the day red. Second hour goes 2 down in green. So that same idea of charge point. But that same idea of the decoupling and understanding that you can go potential 3, very important. And looks like SPY. There's your 2-2 REV Strat hour SPY. So your target's right here, 435.73. That's the first one. And then you get down here, 435.12. So we talked about that during this stream, so there's no excuses there. And looks like NVIDIA is coming back down to the bottom. Oof, they're really stopping them out. But we'll continue what we were talking about. But great example of your REV Strat that we just talked about. That should go instantly and get on a 1 minute time frame. Didn't go instantly right away, but later in it, you're going to see 5 minute 2-2 shooter actionable signal to go and take out that REV Strat, and boom, magnitude hit. You took out that stuff. And that means if you go to Qs, you can see your broadening formation we just talked about as well playing out with your slightly higher high. Now they're taking out this low and this low and this low back here, just a little bit shy of that. But you can see this goes all outside of that stuff from being compound inside bar. But let's get to NVIDIA quickly, and then I will answer your question. I saw it, so don't worry about it. So if we go to NVIDIA, this was something actually a member called out. They said, hey, look at NVIDIA. And we're like, okay, let's look at it. And like we said, if you go to the first hour of the day, goes red, but we have week, month, quarter, 6 month, 12 month, all green. Everyone knows that. So that being said, 2 down in green into continuity, we'd want to know about that. And the way we got in that, just by sake of the time that we looked at it, could have gotten it off that fiver. We grabbed it right here at 4142. And then we had this TTO, didn't come back to entry. And then we go outside day right at the high, 404.98. And then you can see I held into this, and then once we started reversing in here, I closed positions because we went 3 2s to the downside after taking out. You can see the highs of this broadening formation. Then we have the lows of the try back here. So if that goes inside and up on the 5, I'd want to know about it. But coming back through the try, we'll see what happens. If we go to SPY, you can see it's hit its target here. So new hourly continuity. The day is still green. So new hour, if that goes 2 down in green, maybe you get some fivers back up if they want to try and take out this stuff, which slightly higher highs, slightly lower lows. There it is. So have you considered drawing the market sessions as candles, London sessions, one candle, and then do Strat 3 on them? So you can. The simpler way to do it, though, is if you go to ES, it's like, if you open when you're looking at the sessions, like I believe TFO made it wasn't session specifically, but it was, so you can destroy it, yeah. So if you're looking at sessions, you can do that, right? Because it'll give you, it's like, okay, here's inside bar, and then what? 2 down in green fails, so you're going up here, right? Makes sense. Boom, to the highs. So you can do that. Personally, I don't, just because I've been staring at broadening formations in these charts for going on, oh my God, what, 20, I don't want to say 4 years, but at least 3 years of just staring at the broadening formations and drawing them out on ES every day. So I don't really need it. It's neat and it's useful if you need it or want it. And you totally can do that. Or another thing you can do, it's not going to be perfect like sessions, but the 12-hour or any other smaller aggregation than daily, like you could go 4-hour, you could go 8-hour, things like that. You can do that. Works on any time frame, and you can see, if we go and look at it, you can see from these highs to these lows, this gets stuck inside. You make a new low, take out the low. This is your 2-2 reversal right here, continuation, inside bar, then potential 3, and they go and take out those highs. So it's the same thing, it's just a different way of eyeing it up. So ICT, different timing of candles. So the important thing is you want your candles to open, and you want them to be even. So you want them to at least open at 00 or 30. And with the Strat specifically, we like the bottom of the hour. So we want our hours to open at the like 12:30, 11:30, 10:30, 9:30, 8:30, etc. And reason being is because that's when news happens on the 30s and the 00s. So if you're on like a 30-minute time frame, even if we go to like SPY today, or ES, my bad. So you go on ES, this open is right when the news happens, right? So right when that news happens, they go and take out the low of a 3, and then they go green right there again. So that's why we want to know about it, because we know after this candle closes, it doesn't really matter what this candle did. This next 30 is important, right? And you can see they go 2 up in red, come back in. So this is all tradable. If you're trading ICT stuff, then you're waiting a bit longer unless you're on the small time frames. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just personal preference. And I'm still tweaking and changing some things around every once in a while, like just in general, because I don't think my trading's perfect. I don't think anyone's is. It can always be better. I use them. I use the sessions for a bit, and I really just I got kind of lazy with it. Didn't keep it on my charts, and it didn't really affect how I traded. So I just decided to simplify everything down a bit. So now charge point, look at that. Takes out the low of your three over here, stops them out. So if you go hours 30s to the upside, we would target 1010. If we go to AI, are they going to take out this low back here, 41.29? If so, once they stop those guys out, if you go an hour, you see inside hour down, the magnitude of that is to take out 41.61 if it can, if it's weak enough. And then once that happens, they can set up a REV Strat potentially. That'd be neat. But let's see. We also had this morning XLEs, which we've kind of just had on the lookout recently because we've been looking at CL off of this broadening formation, which if you know anything about broadening formations, you can see from high to low, this all gets stuck inside. So 2-2 reversals, these candles go outside of these two candles, and they make a lower low, and they make a higher high. This all goes outside of this stuff, and they make a lower low and a higher high and a lower low. So it's kind of fun to just trade in these because you get to trade both ways all the time. And if you go on XOM, or actually it was CVX we traded today. CVX, we took the REV Strat to 1, 2 down, 2 up right here. I admittedly didn't get much off of it just because if we go to a smaller time frame, I wasn't patient enough for these fivers up here, so I just stopped out right up here after getting in. I believe it was right on this 5-minute continuation. So didn't get much out of that one, but it did go from daily 2-2 reversal to, if we zoom out, daily target up here. And I'd urge you guys, if you want to see kind of how this is done real time, please check that link in the description because that is the whole stream from, I believe it was 7:45 to like 11:15 this morning. So that will be beneficial for anyone that is trying to see what it's like real time. But we do have 70 people in here, so feel free, any questions or concerns or anything, I'd love to hear about it because I'll sit here and talk to you guys until there's nothing to talk about. Oh, I forgot to show my orders, I guess. So here is daily change. So again, past results not indicative of future performance. I have to say that. But let's see. So admittedly, these are not all my trades because I do have two accounts. I have a small account on Thinkorswim that I use in the morning, and then in the afternoon I get into the bigger one. But you can see, so we did have LRCX. That was one that we didn't talk about, but it was, if we just go, you're seeing the video, it had the 15ers and 5ers down here. We go to LRCX. That one had 15ers right here. So I grabbed this 2-2 reversal and wrote it up to, I believe it was somewhere around in here, and then I got stopped out of the rest of that position. It wasn't a big one, but we'll pull that back up quickly. So LRCX from 740 to, I believe it was like 904. Or nope, that was NVIDIA. Yeah, so almost 9. And Intel, this was just selling some runners from last week. And I'd like to talk about that as well. So let's go to Intel. So we got Intel on the day. What did we trade last week? We traded this potential 3. Where did we get it? We got it right here at 2990. And the reason we traded for that is because if you look left, see this bar here? All of these candles are stuck inside. So when that happens, you get a slight gap down and it goes green. It's trying to go 3. The reason we know that to be true is because when you're higher time frame inside bar, you start the new broadening formation. So you can see last week, inside week. So what happened? If we look at last week's range, you can see they made a new low and they made a new high. And they slightly expanded it up and then fell back in last week. So it'd be drawn something like this. And then this week, your inside and up trigger is the top of that try, yes. But as long as it expands and stays above that trigger, you are inside bar and up, ready to go. And you can see it did it on Monday, which I wasn't trading. And we had our entries from down here. I believe it might have been on the hourly. I believe it was on the hourly 3-2, so it was actually slightly higher. But whenever we get an entry and we have time frame continuity, you always leave some runners, and you can see it inside week and up on Monday, and then Tuesday we got that nice gap up along all the Soxel stuff, which is why we were looking at like NVIDIA, QCOM, Intel, AMD, all that stuff this morning, which it didn't do that much. A lot of them were gap and sit, but not too shabby. And then let's see. So I did that Bitcoin trade. That was another one that you're going to see on here as well. So where was it? BitO. I was forced to close that one. Reason being is because during pre-market, they took the day up and we're like, okay, well, if they can get out of this inside bar, take out this stuff, and you can see the week, maybe we can get some green stuff to get back in here. But now you can see Doji inside week. Don't want to hold into that. I left a third of that position because they're expiring in 3.5 or 3-ish months. So this try and everything here is still a-okay. It's just a matter of, do we get weekly signals? Last week, once we had the daily go big 3 like that, if we just go to replay mode, I don't know if it'll show me, but if we go to replay mode, that 3 set up a hammer week, which would have been 3, 2 up, 2 down, hits its magnitude, and then sets up a hammer back through the range. So that would have been really nice, but you're going to notice since we went 3 on the day, that's a broadening formation for sure. The second day goes 2 up in red, and now we're coming back into that try. And you can see now we have a shooter to go and take out the low of that 3. So not the best look. I still have small position on that to see if it can go further or give us reversals off the bottom of this try again, because you always want to try and get the bottom of the try. The only thing is, if you go on the quarterly, you're 2 up in red, and we got less than a half a month, about a half a month left of the quarter. So going to be a lot closer going 2-2 reversal next quarter, but if we can go potential 3 next quarter and take out this stuff, that would also be pretty nice. So we may have to wait until then, which would be a couple weeks. But that was that close there on BitO, and you can see charge point 69 cents. Wasn't a big position, so I held it to see if we're going to TTO and go to that weekly magnitude. And we also had the buy to open here, so I averaged up into it. So my average is about, 58, 69, like 63 cents-ish. I believe it's about break even right now. And then LRCX, that was a sell to close. NVIDIA, that was off of that fiver, so at 10:50 a.m. Just quickly get back over here so you can see right here, this is 9:45, this is 10:50 my time, so there's your 225er. And we go to any of this other stuff. AI, this is me partialing into the highs once we hit, what's it called? Our 44 targets. So that was the partials. I still have some runners on there, and you can see that one is $1.50 to $5.40 and $4.90, which is beautiful. Don't get that every day, but pretty nice. And that's all my orders from today. So there it is for the haters. But you also got NVIDIA. There's your inside fiver up off the bottom of the try. See if they can get above 405.88. That'd be pretty nice. And you can see potential inside 15er up, which if you're inside 15er, you have to be careful of the flips on the small time frame. But since we only have a minute left on that, it's gonna be a lot closer to going 2-1-2, which if we go to the 30, that's still inside. So still have to be really careful of that. The new 15er could come and negate. If we go on the hour, 3-1. So we just opened the hour. This is that big 3, that big triangle. You can see new continuity. They go from selling aggressively to buying aggressively, right? And you go to SPY. We're not seeing that quite yet. They took out the lows of the hour, so this is 2 up, 2 reverse, 2 down reversal, continuation. That's trend. And as long as that's continuation, your broadening formation is technically to try and take low a day. But since we have the hour REV Strat right here, these 2 bars already created one like this. So they could come back through either way. You'll see it on a small time frame. It looks a lot neater, which we had drawn out earlier, and they're still hammering at the lows. So we'll see if that tries to reverse or not. And if it does, you want to see 2-9 and green 15er to set up potential outside hour, right? The SB trade. Posted in charts. Let's see it. Oh, the silver bullet on ES? Nice. Yeah, so there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? So if we look at what time frame? Fiverr? Yeah, so this was the neat. So this was the trade that I believe Sarah. Yeah, nice. So Sarah grabbed that silver bullet to take the hour down, which she's looking for that same liquidity. This is ES futures. And you can see, what did they set up? Fivers, 2 up in red. There's your 2-2, and they get right into the bottom of the try. So beautifully done, Sarah. Love to see it. And that's ICT silver bullet for the afternoon. And you can see so far, not reversing. They're technically inside Fiverr, so closer to continuation. And if we go to ES, our big try is still like this. So they're going anywhere. They might be going there, right? And that could spell trouble for NVIDIA because NVIDIA has no futures help. So this is all natural participants buying in NVIDIA here since the futures aren't doing it. And when you're trading, you want to trade with the futures, which in the morning we traded up because the futures went up, right? 2-2 reversals. So in the afternoon going down, that's where you want to trade things with continuity to the downside. Dixie and indexes. So if you're looking at Dixie, it used to be important, but what do we know about the higher time frame inside bar? You don't want to trade it. So Dixie no longer important. The rest of the year, and when it looks like this halfway through the aggregation, so halfway through the year, if the year looks like this, it's not doing anything, right? It's like, see this year, it's like, it probably looked very similar to that about halfway through it, right? So no longer is Dixie important. Next year, when you go 2-1-2, that's when it's important. So keep an eye for that. Okay, so stocks, your stops between option contract and stock chart. You kind of have to pick your poison. So if you're doing it off the stock chart, you will get stopped out more often. Or if you're doing it off the option price, you will get stopped out more often by definition because of illiquidity, because of big orders being sent through that widen the bid and ask that take the liquidity. So it's still illiquidity, right? And just because of overall volatility of the options contract being higher. So when I'm trading, we're using between 10 and like 30 cent stops on the underlying. So the way that works is we normally use continuity. So if we go to AI, we had a lot of ads on this one, which I failed to mention, but we so we had the 15er, then we had the 30 into the day, which a day trigger is still an entry, and then we had the week trigger here. So that's 4 entries long into this thing, then 5 inside bar add, and then we had inside 30 and up right here. So tons of entries. But the way we do it is using continuity for the most part. So if I'm looking at this 30-minute long signal, I don't want to see it. If this big candle occurs like that, I don't want to see it go back under that candle's low because continuity's up. So if it goes back below that low, the 30-minute, hour, and day go back to red. And if it goes back below that low, it's a 2-2 reversal, or it's reversing somewhere up here and it's now under my entry price for sure. So keeping that stop, you can say 18 cents. That's how we do it. Because if you use the options contract, you're going to get really angry really quick because the way that the big moves happen is failed moves, right? So if you're long right here and they wick it down and then rip it, it's like that's a broadening formation on like a 15-second time frame. I don't know if there is one today or not, but it's like, yeah, so here it is. So you see that rip it higher, it's like, oh, break even on my option contract. Nope, here's the rip lower before it takes off, right? So you can't really do that or else you're going to get killed. So you just got to listen to the price chart instead of the option contract, in my opinion. And that being said, you still need to manage your risk and understand how the options move to make sure you're not oversizing, because if you're looking at it and you're like, oh, I have a break-even stop on the underlying price right here, and it hits your break-even stop on the option contract, you're going to eat the spread because when it's selling, if you mark it out, you're definitely going to hit the bid and it's selling. So the bid's already illiquid, right? So need to keep that in mind. Make sure you're trading liquid stuff. But yeah, underlying for sure, in my opinion. And as far as trailing your stops go, I made a very, very simple indicator for you guys, which if we go look at it right now, I guess there's the low, right? So it's STS, it's Strat Trail Stops by Alex's Options on TradingView. And what it allows you to do is trail based on any time frame. So what you can do is you can set it up like to trail the hourly time frame, which is where my AI contracts, I'm going to let them trail the hourly because this trend can go all week, the rest of the year, right? So need to keep that in mind when we're looking at this. But you can set an alert and you can do the price is crossing, and then the first trail stops the lower time frame right here. The second one's gonna be the higher time frame. So if price is crossing that trail stop, you can create an alert and it'll let you know if your thing is falling out of trend. Which if you look at the hour on AI, inside hour, that's not new trend, that's consolidation. 2 down, yes, technically falling out of trend, but your mother bar to this one, so you can see that low, that is still the trail stop. So that is also your magnitude of the hour, so it all kind of lines up. Yeah. So an outside candle, it's just high and low, new high and low. And when we're talking about them, once it happens, once you're outside bar, you're outside bar. That's not changing, right? And the reason this outside bar is important is because that's a broadening formation for sure, guaranteed. You can't convince me otherwise, and it happens all the time. So for the people that say it doesn't happen, it happens all the time. Also, AI going green on the hour. If it's above that hourly open, boom, look for the new high, 45.13. And that being said, let me see what the 45s are trading at. And like we said on AI, you want 15er back in. So here's your 15er. If we go on SPY, setting up inside 15er, can it go 212? Qs. Qs is a little stronger off the lows. Already did it. So once we open the next 30-minute candle, do we go to 230s to come and take that out? And NVIDIA, there's your inside 15er up after your inside 5er to the upside, like we said, into your PMG to go back to the highs, but other side of your broadening formation. Get love to see it. My question is didn't answer before, but what indicators do you use and are they free? Everything I use, I try and give it all out for free. Besides where you have direct interaction with me, everything I use is free. So if you ever see anything you want, all you have to do is ask. And if you're asking what I use time frame continuity by TFO. I make sure all the time frames are up, so I have everything from the day to the year to the 30-60 or the 30-minute and hour. And for the most part, I don't really use much outside of that. I'll use the trailing stops in order to, first of all, trail stops, but also it's a really, really good visual. I don't use it very often, or as often as I should, because it's a great visual. But it's a very good visual of understanding time frame continuity and trend. So it's like if we're looking at Qs, see this low that was put in back here? Look at your time frame continuity. See how it's all red? And then what happens? See how it all changes to green? And then you get daily and weekly reversal right here. Look at that. You get brand new trend. And they test it. They continue. And you can see you get the really small time frames testing that stuff as well. Like this is a very, very useful indicator if you understand how to couple these things together. So for the most part, that's all I use. There's also, if you want strat numbers on your charts, you can do that. That one's also free. It's on TradingView. Outside of that, I do Thinkorswim. So you're going to see this sometimes if you watch any of my videos or see my tweets. This is a work in progress. It's something I'm working on to figure out some other stuff that we have behind the scenes with Stat for the run strat replacement. But I use this, and really I just use it to see rotation and where the twos are, because when you're trading, this is why stratters prefer to trade stocks. Like you can trade on the indexes, yes, but indexes don't always move. And when they're not moving, you don't have anything else to choose besides like gold or currencies. So that alongside with Strat, it's like if we want to trade Soxel or chips like AMD, NVIDIA, AMAT, LRCX, TSM, MU, ON, if we want to trade all those, we want to see all those things doing the same thing. Because if you see a concentrated number of twos in one sector, they're all doing the same thing, which means they're buying all of them the same, which means they're really aggressive because they're willing to buy any of it, and they just want more. So when we're looking at something like this, all I'm looking for is where are the most twos. So you can see like in healthcare, there's a good concentration, but utilities, it's like they're getting killed this week. They're red, so not buying those this week. Consumer, not too good, not too bad. It's a little bit of a mixed bag. You can see communications; those are pulling back from last week, so a couple of them are still going. And then you go to like XLF banks; those are bright green, but not in force on the week. And this is all because it's the beginning of the week. Things just haven't gone in force yet. But if we go to the best traders, you're going to see all these things that are bright green. These are all things where it's like, oh, AI, let's trade that one, right? And Dell, GitLab, let's trade those. And reason being is because you have all the twos and they're aggressively being bought. And now if we go to Dell, you're going to see based on your time frame continuity, they're above all of that. So you can zoom out. It's like there's your higher time frame trend, right? So anything that's full time frame continuity ends up on my lists for ES1. So if you're trading ES, you need to be very specific on what you're taking. And the reason being is because there's a lot of different trades in here, but not all of them are good, right? So if you're taking shorts down into here expecting outside day or something, it's like you're gonna get messed up. So if you're trading the strat, I would suggest look at the SPY and then trade the ES, which some people might disagree with me on. But it gives you, if you mix them both together, it gives you a really good view because, you know, if ES is going outside day and SPY is inside day, then SPY can go and take out previous day high or low, for example. So using them both is important. But if I were to trade futures, I would want to know what the SPY, like, is the SPY stuck? Is everything in the SPY going two up? Because when you get these big moves, like last week, we talked about this 2-2 reversal, the whole market doing it, right? And then boom, takes it out. So, or was it? It might have been 2 weeks ago. Yes, it was. But when the whole market looks like this, then you can take daily trigger like it's nothing, right? The same way if the whole market's big hammer like this for SPY, you can take daily trigger like it's nothing. But when you don't have all those things agreeing, you're going to get choppy mess like this, where you're completely stuck. Which if you're trading ES and using tight stops, this is going to completely deplete your whole account. And I know because when I first tried to trade futures with the strat, I tried to just get after everything, which it did work when it was highly volatile. But when it would get slow, it'd chop you up and it'd take a lot of your gains because the commissions are high and the stops, the futures try to kind of like wiggle around back and forth. They don't move as cleanly as the SPY does, in my opinion. But that being said, there's a lot more to it if you're trying to make high probability trades on ES. And the best way you can do it without focusing on the rest is using the range ideas that are in my pinned tweet. And for those that are wondering what those are, if we go down to like a smaller time frame, if you can identify when you get stuck inside a range and then where the outside of that range is, then you know where you're going and you can take really good entries on ES. So last week, what did we talk about all week? Well, this big broadening formation, right? And we drew this one out like so. And you can see all of this price action in here gets stuck inside these highs and lows. So when you get chop shop like this, it's best to wait until what? You take out the top or bottom of the try, because once you do that, you're in discount or you're in premium, whatever you want to say. And then that's where the big trades come from, right? So if all of this price action, you can see from the whole overnight session of this, or I believe Wednesday, yeah. So all of this price action gets stuck inside. If we highlight it, this all gets stuck inside from this low to this high. So once we take that low out, then you're good to go to try and get back to the top of the try. And when you see that happen, you can get on a 5 minute and you can see how it just whips around. You can get on a 5 minute and do that, but what we normally do is you wait for midnight, or not midnight, you wait for the New York Open, and then you're given signals. So time and price, similarly to ICT, you have to ignore all of the choppy mess because that's not good range. Then you can see New York Open comes right here at 9. So we have what, 3, 2 down, that fails, comes back into this 3, and then 2 up. So the target's to take out this, and since we're taking it off the bottom of the range, we know the top of our try is back here. So if we draw that out, you can see they take it all the way up, they TTO, they stop these guys out in the overnight session, and then they go and take out the top of the try. So there's a lot more to it in futures. Just in my view, if you have all the signals lining up, like if we go like this, it's like, okay, we have 3-2 month above that. We knew about that, and we know our target's still up here, right, for the top of our range. Similarly to SPY, which already hit its target. Go to the week. We know this week hammer is in force as long as that's green. We go to the day. Let me get that weekly open drawn out. We go to today, and you can see 2-2 day to try and negate weekly open, and then negate it. So now you're good to go, and you can swing, right? Because we're looking for that stuff. So, and then you can look at, see, you go 2 down, 2 up. They're just chopping around, and then they take out the low because these bars are compound inside of this stuff. But then they aggressively come back through the range, go 2-2, and take out the highs. So they're now not consolidating anymore. And then they go 2-2-2 continuation trend. As far as like stops and stuff go on ES1, can't tell you because I don't really trade the strat on ES, and I don't trade futures as much as I used to, just because stocks have been really good recently. And if you were here for the beginning of the stream, you can see why. It's like, why would I trade ES when AI is going from 17% in less than 2 hours, right? Makes a lot more sense to stick on the stocks, which AI grabbed that 15er long. There she is, target 1. And that was during stream, so here it is for the haters. I grabbed them in next week so I can see if I can get a swing, but there's 4 contracts right on your 15er trigger right there. So now, why do we take that? Because potential 3 on the hour, so we can take out this and this for the REV Strat. And if it runs out of time, then you get 2-2. That's your, this is 1 bar REV Strat. If they go and do it this hour, they have 30 minutes, which means if you go on the 30-minute, 2-2, if that can get above with a bid over here, then look for that to try and take that stuff out too. New scanning site. Ooh. All right. Yeah. So big announcement. This is awesome. So if we go to, I believe it's app.stratalerts.com, this is the new scan site. So it is beta. So that is, it's still in the works, but this will allow you to scan for exactly what we have been talking about today. And I believe, I don't know if they have the 15-minute. I believe you can do it intraday as well, which would be huge, especially for people that aren't using Thinkorswim, which we can check that right now. So 613, it looks about right. So BLDP 1115er. It looks like it's a little bit late. Yeah, so it looks like the lower time frames aren't gonna be working. So day and week, see beyond. Oh, actually, no, these, yeah, so it updates every night. The lower time frames won't work for now, but that will be a part of the, once we have it fully live, once it's not beta, it will be, what's the word? I believe a part of the subscription part of this site. And reason being is because anyone can do do daily data without being charged for it. But we have a very expensive data package for the intraday stuff, and we can't freely give that out. It's illegal to not have people sign things. So that has to be the case, and it's expensive, so that's the truth. But here's beyond. So if we're looking at for one day, here's beyond. There's your one day. So double consolidation, 3 1 1 2, boom, take them out. And you can see your time from continuity is pretty good on that as well. If you're on the month, it goes 2-2 reversal, and quarter is getting close to going hammer counter shooter for next quarter, back to 22. That'd be nice. But yeah, no, check out the scanning site, especially if you're missing run strat. This should be able to do pretty much exactly what you're looking for. I'm pretty sure the hammers and shooters scans work. So FCX, yeah, so FCX had outside bar hammer day, JPM, talked about that this morning. There's your hammer day, boom, 2-2. Weekly goes to course, month is close to going T up, and quarter, same. Volume profile along the strat. You can, but all the volume profile is going to tell you is there's a lot of contracts traded here. So it does it's like, okay, well, if a lot of contracts traded here, can this be support? Sure, but if we know about the flip in the quarter, you don't have to know about that. You just need the previous quarter's high and low. Goes two down in green right there, which means you go to a weekly time frame. Here's your 3-2 week. Boom, outside quarter done. Then you go and take that out, and then I believe they took out these, just under those highs. So don't really need it technically. Think I'm learning between you and Rob's room. I love to hear it, and Rob's the way to go. He's been doing it a lot longer than I have, but I've learned a lot from him. There's different strokes for different folks, as they say. Yep. So NVIDIA, this is all live during this stream. Here's your Fiverr ad right here, 2-2 to continue. And NVIDIA is going to 419.69, I believe it is. Could be wrong. Yeah, NVIDIA is going to 419.40, so that's close. Maybe I was thinking a little too hard. But here's your inside 15 or up off the bottom of your try. There's your inside 5 or 2 ad right there. So if they can bid above 409.70, there you go. And AI, you can see REV Strat, but doesn't trigger. They're continuing the trend. So can they go and get back above this stuff? We'll have to see. It reverses off the stop break even. But again, all for questions. We got about 57 people in here. So if there's any other things you guys are wondering about, feel free to let me know. Latest the stream will go is 3 p.m. Eastern or CST. So we have about an hour left of the stream here. And the cool thing about NVIDIA here at this Fiverr, that's expansion of the try. So if that Fiverr goes, it's gone. It should definitely. I don't know if it's gonna go 419 today. I don't think there's enough time with an hour left. But overnight and the rest of the week, I'd want to know about that. Looks like AI is retriggering the 30s up. That being said, made about $100 in AI during the stream. Pretty nice. Guess we could go over. There was another trade we took today. It was LRCX was actually short this morning. You can see a big pivot machine gun, all these twos lined up. This is your 15 or 2-2 to the downside. Those went about, I believe we talked about using these 600 puts, which didn't move as much as we would have preferred because we wanted to see a potential outside day, but that new hour came in and negated. Yeah, so those went from 5 to 7 in 15 minutes. And then you can see new flip goes 2 down in green. There's your 2-2 that we longed. Take it both ways. There's also, there's CVX, but we talked about that one. I don't know if it was Target. I don't think so. Where was it? It was one I didn't get, so I can't even look at my orders. Oh, it was AMD on the fivers. We talked about the 225ers right here. Boom. It's like you're going outside of what? You're going outside of all this stuff. Then you can see when they do once they do it, they come back in. But if we go and zoom out on AMD, what did that one do? I already took out these highs back here, so potentially gonna take out this stuff. They're weak enough to do so. But if you look at it, for those that don't think broadening formations happen all the time, you see you completed this one. Now potentially trying to expand. If they get back in it, then potentially get back up there. You see NVIDIA kind of just dancing around at the highs. If it falls back into that try, that one is done. But it's still sticking up there. All right, let's see. AMD, do you trade on threes as an AMD got shaken out? So when you see if you're short, so this is one thing that I overlooked for a little bit, not in the sense that didn't know about it, just in the sense that you need to train your eyes and respond. You have to, what's the word? You have to kind of be a little bit obsessed with this stuff, because if your brain knows you care about it, then it's pretty intuitive. So I don't know what you did on AMD, if it was it this three or something. But when you see, if you're long or short anything and you see a three in the opposite direction, that's a TTO. And the reason that is because, let's see. So if you look at AMD, it's like everyone, so 322, and someone bought today, got that they wanted, market gapped up, they kept buying. And then this three, what does it do? Well, anyone that was long, they're able to get out up here. And then as it comes back in, you're stopping all these guys out. So once this three happens, we know by definition that's a broadening formation. So we draw it from here to here. This is outside bar of that. And you can see this is not compound outside bar. This is just outside bar. So it's the same thing we're looking for when we're talking about lower time frames, where it's like these two bars go outside bar of all this stuff. Anything in the back left side of the try. So when you see the big three, if it's against your time frame continuity and against where you're trading, that's a TTO by definition. So I don't know if that answers your question, but hopefully that makes sense. Understood 10%. So if you're trying to learn anything about the strat, I do have a video that kind of just introduces you to all the concepts and ideas. It's Strat A to Z. It should be a playlist on my channel. And I will say that it gets you up to speed on understanding what the strat is. It doesn't quite give you trading plans, which is where these streams kind of come in. I'm hoping that these help you guys understand how to execute, and I can answer any questions about that for everyone that follows me on Twitter. And if you're still struggling, Sarah does have a very lengthy course, which I can show you guys that. I don't want to show you guys the login. Oh, we're already here. Just give me 1 second. So Sarah does weekly strat education stuff. So every single week she's there to answer questions, talk about whatever new concept, or not new concept, but whatever concept people are having trouble with. And then there's this 18-part course that she made, just going through pretty much everything. And I don't know if it can let me see all the videos here or not. Yeah, so you're gonna see it starts for just the scenarios, time for continuity, what an actual signal is, are, stop losses, magnitude targets, the flip, broadening formations, consolidations or tightening ranges, and then multiple time frame analysis. It goes through all of this stuff. So you can go and look at that. It is not sold separately. It's just with our premium subscription, which I believe Sarah is planning to change sometime in the near future. So if that's something you're interested in, you could definitely go and check that out. If you There's also what Strat Soldier does have a course as well. I'm not going to not mention him. Rob, I believe, also does have a course. It's a little bit pricey, but it is made by the guy that invented the strat, so you got that going for him. And there's a lot of free materials. I try to provide as much as possible. So there's a lot of different ways you can learn about all this stuff. It's really, at the end of the day, how much time you're going to spend and dedicate to it. And on that note, for how long it took me to just figure it out, probably spent, I worked a night shift job, and I probably spent every single night for 3 months watching and listening about strat stuff. And then when it was slow, I'd get all the dishes done because I had to do the dishes because I was doing delivery stuff, and then I would go on my computer and I'd chart everything. And then once I got off at 3, I'd nap for a couple hours and wake up to trade the open. And that was my life for months until I was like, okay, I need to quit the job. So it's really just how much time, effort you can expend towards it. So hopefully that helps. I need to take a phone call quick and then I'll get back to answering your questions. Surprise dental cleaning today. Fun. Uh, so yeah, do you combine ICT concept with the strat? So this is I don't disagree with ICT, and I've always said since literally my first tweet. Let me see, because a lot of people I did get some flack about just not posting about it as much, and there's a reason. We'll talk about it. Just let me find this quick. So you're gonna see this, 2020. Well, so yeah, almost 2 years. I don't know. August is kind of late, but a good bit ago, I just had some interest to try and figure out because I saw Stock God and FT trading, which he kind of blew up a bit, but I was me and him would DM and just talk about stuff and whatever. And where I started was with supply and demand stuff. So the ICT thing wasn't anything I disagreed with in that sense. It was more so ICT incorporated liquidity into the same concepts, which made it applicable to the strat and just gives you potential for better entries. Which, when we're looking at futures or something, I can almost guarantee you'll get a lot better entries with ICT stuff more often. But if you're trading the strat correctly, you'll get the bigger moves that the ICT people don't see. So it's kind of give or take. And if you mix them both together, then you know it's like, okay, well, compound inside bar gets stuck in here. Then we make that low. It's like, where's your entry? It's like you can turtle soup that, right? So you know that that's a potential entry. Or if you followed me for a long time, you know the box setup where you get consolidation. And someone asked me about the box setup. I don't know which specific one you're talking about, but we can go and look at it. I believe you said on NQ. You can see consolidation. They aggressively sell it with fair value gaps, which just shows aggression. And for stratters, fair value gaps, nothing new really. It's just previous highs and lows are liquidity, right? ICT just defines it as this is where candles need to go in balance. And it's like, okay, now it's balanced, right? Because green candles and red candles. So it's just a different way of looking at it in that sense. But ICT will get you potentially this turtle soup entry or this one here, risking this low, this was like my main setup using the box, which you can see all at the end of the day, all that is broadening formation from this high to this low. So it's all very similar stuff. And if you look at it, it's like, where's your breaker block? It's right there. So coming and looking left, you can see the nice big closes above it, and then they test into it. So there's another entry risking like down to here. So there's a lot of different entries you can take with ICT, but there's nothing you can trade ICT with you can't trade the strat with, because at the end of the day, the strat it's the truth, right? It's not that anything else is a lie. It's just the strat. You can't prove it wrong. And that's the beauty in it. And that's why even when I started using ICT stuff, trading futures more, you can't ignore it because it's what happens. So as long as that's the case, which it always will be, then if you're trading ICT, it's going to be the strat built into it, right? So understanding the strat and then understanding like, oh, ICT order block after we take out the bottom of the try, this will set the try up to expand higher. Also important to know, right? So mixing them is beneficial. It's also confusing. And what I found personally is if I want to trade stocks, I can't do both. And the reason I can't is because ICT is a lot about retests and stocks are a lot about the things that aren't retesting. So if we go to AI, it's like, here's your fiver. So you can see they grind into the highs, stop them out. This is your three. So that's TTO. Goes two down, two up, boom, get. And if you took the 15ers or the 30s for the potential 1 bar rev strat hour that we talked about at the beginning of the stream, then you're a happy camper, aren't you? And just felt I should mention. But if you're looking at AI, it's like, where's your order block entry? There is none because it's just ripping to the highs. And if I go mentally, for me, if I go from trading like this to trying to trade ICT stuff, it just gets really confusing. And if it confuses me, not that I'm some crazy smart person, but if it confuses me, who I sit at the computer and this is like my life right now, then anyone that's trying to learn anything from me, I bet they're just as confused or it gets just as hard to understand. So I've chosen to stick to the strat because I know it's 100% true. And then ICT stuff, we mention it all the time on the streams. Like if we're ever looking at indexes, like this morning, if we're looking at indexes, it's like, oh, here's your hourly for value gap. Stratters, we just say this is TTO because continuity's up. We had this big old three. They stopped them out and then ripped it. Now you had a red candle, corrective activity. They stopped them out below here. So anyone that got long into this stuff, they're gone. And that's TTO, but it's also just fair value gap. So when we're talking about things, I'll be like, oh, there's your hour for value gap for the ICT people, and everything makes sense. So it really, they mix very, very well using the order blocks and understanding where your draw and liquidity is, aka where your magnitude is. If you mix all those things together, everyone does very well. And even just using simple comp sets like, oh, this candle failed to displace above that high, which means we're going to try and test the other side of the range or take out previous liquidity. It's like, that's the same strat concept. It's just a different way of looking at it. Because if it failed to get up here, that's two up in red, right? So that's setting up reversal, which is what we talked about for your SPY hourly rev strat, which is what? Going what? 15 or 2 off the bottom of the try. And if you go to the oneer, where did ICT entries potentially happen? You had for value gap oneer right here. You had another for value gap oneer right here, which is inside bar and up. You had another for value gap right here, which is probably your silver bullet. I might be wrong, but it's all the same at the end of the day. So it's really just what makes more sense to you, and I'll let you guys make that decision. Well, the reason ICT is like learning rocket science is because there's so many moving parts to it. Because of what it's trying to do. It's like it's trying to figure out exactly where the low of the day is going to be. And it's like, okay, now, can you do that? Yes. If you get really good at it, I've seen it on Twitter, everyone, they can do it. But can you do it every single day? No. It's like 1-2 good trades a week, unless you're trading multiple pairs, then maybe you can get one every day. So you definitely have to figure out what suits you more. And I've found out through testing everything, because I'm not open-minded so much that I'll fall for anything, but I'm open-minded enough to be like, oh, that looks appealing. I'm going to test it out and see what I think. And I did that with ICT, and I decided that all the things I've learned, very useful. It's like, here's your fair value gap order block. There's your 50% right there, right at the low. It's like very useful. But if I'm trading 60 tickers a day or 10 positions, it's very hard to do that. It's much easier to go, oh, SPY 2215 or after hitting hourly rev strat magnitude, get done, right? So much, much easier. I came here from ICT and you blew your mind. Well, if you're using ICT, all I can recommend you is incorporate broadening formations. It's like, if we go to the SPY, if you've been following me on Twitter for a minute, you know exactly where we're going, or where we were going. We've already taken it out. It's like, you know exactly why we're trading up here, because we took out the lows down here, and that means we got to take out those highs if we have time from continuity. So just understanding broadening formations, that will get you very, very far. It doesn't matter how you get in. Like ICT says, if you know where price is going, the entry part's the easy part, right? So that same concept applies. If you know where price is going, the entry part's the easy part. And with ICT, you get a little bit more flexibility with that than the strat, because the strat's like make a winning position, move your stop, let it go. ICT is like, okay, try and buy this new low that just formed, risking these lows, so you have a little bit more risk, but your reward is still just as big. But Merc TV, I love to hear that. And if you followed me at all while I focused a lot on ICT stuff, I never got away from broadening formations or any of that stuff. It's all the same, and hopefully the stream's helping you guys see that. And that being said, 6 minutes until the next flip. Last one of the day. We'll have 30 minutes left on AI to try and take out 44.20 and then potentially 45.16. If we make a new high day, I'll probably exit my weekly contracts. But setting up into tomorrow, AI doesn't look half bad if it can stay up there. Also, NVIDIA, you can see is chopping around. So when you get chop shop, it's going to be a broadening formation. So you get the higher highs, lower lows. And you can see your 3, 1, 2 up. So technically, this is the little try. ICT concepts are overcomplicated and too subjective at the end of the day, not worth learning. I mean, to each their own. I'm not going to trash it because I've used it and I've done pretty well. It's like I still haven't been able to beat my biggest day on futures before. But that being said, I've also had my biggest losses on futures before, so that's also a thing. But I don't know. At the end of the day, the strat is a bit more consistent for me, and it's a lot easier to walk away from a bad day trading the strat than it is ICT because, if you have a bad day trading the strat, most of the time it's because it's not doing anything. And if you have a bad day trading ICT, it's because you missed a 600-point move or a 100-point move, and you're like, you're just sitting at the charts, and you're like, it's not pulling back. It's not pulling back. And it's just like, well, really brutal. That's all I can say. All right. I got about 20-ish more minutes, and then we're going to end it off. So keep them coming. Anything you guys want to chat about. Doesn't even have to be train related, just whatever. Sorry, Tim. Yeah, and I can tell you right now, I'm looking at futures chat in our Discord, and everyone's saying really crappy price action today. And today is one of my bigger days. Actually, no, I've been matching my big days recently, but today was a pretty big day for everyone on the stock side, and it's even without the SPY doing much, totally able to happen. Which is why stocks is it's super useful because if nothing's happening anywhere, then there's a bear bull market in the stock market somewhere, and I can show you right now exactly where the sellers are. So if we go here, and we change this to look for things that are bearish time frame continuity, these are the things getting sold. So we know gold, JNUG, you can see look at 2 down week, 3 on the day, so they're aggressive. Maybe they go 3-2 tomorrow, and we can go open this up for you guys, pin it. Yeah, so JNUG, that's inside month, so nada. Melly, so you can see gap up and sell, so potential 3 right there when it goes red, and there's your 60-point move. And that will show up on my chart right at the morning with the bearish time from continuity. SIG, nothing, CLX, so gap down buy, CME. So you can see that one went red this morning, and what did it do this morning? So 8:30 open, they go up, up, inside bar, 2-1-2 reversal, boom, 2, 2, 2 inside, 2 down in green, nope, 1, and then you can see they put in a little 3 because it's really a liquid. But then this is the TTO, like we are talking about. That 3 is the TTO because it made a higher high and lower low. Now you go inside and down, reverse it, and then you get 2 2 again, 2 2 2, and you have red time for continuity. Pepsi inside day, potentially go inside and down tomorrow to go 3 2, and you can see another 3 2, 2 down in green, TTO. So now this week, we want to see, can we go and take out this stuff? And if so, we got a lot of pivots back here to take out. And if we go to Pepsi on the quarter, this is one we have going into next quarter. We have a REV Strat into a 3, which is one of the best setups you can have because you have a broadening formation, consolidation, failed upside move that traps longs, and then next month, take that out and you're going to 161, which on Pepsi, it's an 11% move. And if you were to look at the contracts for Pep, let's say we're looking at let's say we're looking at like 20 end of 2023 October puts. What? So if we look at like the 180 puts, they're trading at $5. So from here to here, 180 puts would be worth 20. Those would go 4x. And that's if you buy time. If it goes quickly and you play the weeklies and daily signals, then you can make a lot more than that. But as we're saying, there's a market anywhere, and if we go bullish full time from continuity, it's the same thing, which is the stuff we were trading this morning. So I'm going to pull that up, and then normally we'll sort it by performance because then you get the strongest things in the market across thousands of tickers. And you can see URI. I'm surprised AI isn't up there. Weird. It should be. You have to change my. Oh no, it's because it's on that magnitude done. We have to fix this scan. But it's like URI. Look at potential outside quarter. That one's trying to go to 480. If it runs out of time this month, then next quarter you take it up. You go to the month, 2-2 reversal hits its magnitude. Go to the week, continuation of the big trend. You can see outside day yesterday. That's your TTO. Boom. And if you get in on that today, you can see the potential 3 right here, and 3 2 2 2 inside bar, get in 2 2 2 2 2 2. There's always a way in. It's beautiful. Appreciate the live. So if you're looking for my daily streams, uh, I'll show you guys quickly. So this little calendar, I know that's the workshop schedule. My bad. I stream Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 9 to 12 EST, which we normally start like around 30 minutes before market open, sometimes a little sooner. And the reason we don't really need much time is because you guys will know exactly what we're looking at, because if it's a 2-2 or a 3-1-2, you know exactly how that works. So don't need that much time. Some days we'll hop on earlier to talk about concepts or potentially bigger trades or whatever it may be. And yeah, so I'm live Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in Stat. And with that, you actually get a lot more than just me. Sarah's live on Mondays. Sometimes we'll have Friday streams from me or Sarah. And then we also have Elaine, which is where I'd recommend any newer people go. Elaine focuses on the gappers, which if we quickly looked at that from this morning, you'll see in the morning we get a huge list of gappers. And you can see I had a little list from yesterday looking at chip stuff and a couple other things alongside AI, which we knew about, right? But she'll be looking at the gappers. And this morning I didn't really see anything on the gappers that I wanted to give a lot of time to, but she'll alert those setups throughout the day and just tag anyone. So if you don't have a job, or if you have a job or something that you can't get into and sit in a stream for, she's there. So you can see Oracle Gapper, that goes to up in red here. You target this low, the instant that happens. And if you go on the 15er, there's your 2-2 reversal. Here's your shooter add. And here's some TTO. Inside bar, more. And you can see they just trend lower. You had 2-2 on the 30-minute. And you had 2-2-2 corrective activity, 2-2-2 on the hour, just full trend off the open. So that was from the gappers list. There's also Intel, which didn't really do much, got stuck. LTR, which also you can see stuck because it's inside on the week, which is why I didn't trade that one today. And then Billy didn't trade that one because we didn't have any magnitude. It took out the weekly magnitude, and the month didn't have much for us to go for. Neo, that one gapped into the top of the try, so I'm going to wait for that one tomorrow if it goes REV Strat. Um, Same XPEV. You can see this one's Momo Hammer Day, so this one looks good into tomorrow to take out this stuff, potentially later in the week and month, etc. But if we go and look at Gapper alerts, you can see they're already talking about Oracle still, but she will alert pretty much all the stuff on our Gapper list that she's looking at. Obviously, there's a lot, so the thing about the strat is there is a lot of signals, there's a lot of ways in, and your stops do get hit, and we're not going to lie to you, your stops get hit. If it's not a good day, that'll happen. So that being said, there's a lot of alerts from Lane, but she is a great teacher. She has a lot of good materials and stuff as well in there. Like, truly, you could spend a lot of time in stat and probably not run out of strat stuff to learn about. But how's the golf game? Admittedly, I was what I lost my driver. I don't know how I did it. It was a cheap one, so it wasn't the biggest deal in the world. I lost my driver, then I switched to a shorter one. It was like it wasn't. It was a kid's one, or I don't even know what it was. But I switched to a shorter driver, and I was able to hit every fairway. So I was hitting like 80% of fairways every time I play 18, and I played a lot better. And then I got new driver last week to replace my old one, and it's just been really brutal. So golf game has been a little weak. I'm not gonna lie. New squat PR? No. I've been playing a lot of sports. I haven't been at the gym very much. I've been golfing a lot and playing volleyball, beach volleyball. Can you explain how Strat and ICT relate? Makes ICT easier to understand. Um, we kind of talked about it. I think I might have answered that already. But the simplest way to think about it is if we're looking at the Strat. So we go to CTL, for example. So this is one I've been talking about for years, just to show you the broadening information because people say they don't happen, and this one's been in broadening information for 3 decades. So screw you guys. But the way that they kind of intermingle is the strat. We know this 2-2 up here off all-time highs. That's trying to go take out this stuff because we're at the top of the broadening information. ICT, you let that happen, and then you look for your order blocks and retests. So if we know as a strat traders it's going down here, ICT traders know this is an order block up here. So you can short it up here as an ICT trader, aiming for that same target, but we're trading it based off of every single month and quarter that occurs. So it's like we can go short once this goes potential 3. We can be short right here. We have 3-2, and then Momo Shooter. We can be short again here. We can short all of this. We can buy this all the way back up with your 2-2 reversal here. And then you can see a little bit of a chop shop. And you get 2-2 back down. Takes out, you can see the mini broadening formation. And then you get 2-2 back. It's like we can trade all of that and still understand it's going down here. So you get a lot more flexibility. But it does intermingle pretty well because the broadening formations are true, right? So that order block, beautiful, right? Because you know the try. And if you go and look down to the left, here's another order block. Boom, takes the lows. You can see this one, which kind of got negated, but it's like as a stratter, you know if that happens, you take out this low, you're going back to this high. So ICT people might be stopped out here, but strat people, they're waiting for this 3-1 to go 2 right here, try and take this stuff out, which you can see it took forever because it's a choppy mess from 2010. But if we go to the yearly time frame, you're gonna see inside year creates that chop shop, and then once it takes out the high of this 3, big old candle, they stop them out, and then boom, hammer to the highs. 40, what, 40, 462 on spot. I would say, are you looking at this next pivot up here? Yeah, so that is your next pivot target without monthly reversals against, and if monthly continuity stays green next month and next quarter and next 6 months, you're good to go. Only thing you need to worry about is when you're inside on this higher time frame, we know broadening formation start, which we already went through. We're at the top of it right now. So understanding we're 3-1 year, next 6-month candle open, so you can see the first 6 months go up. When that happens, next 6 month opens, they can go and try and negate that. So once this month closes, next month's open will be an important level the rest of the year. So once next month opens, draw out that level and keep it on your charts until 2024. And above that, you could be long. Below it, don't be long, right? Any good steps for long term? AI. So AI 2 year, they're going back up to 185. So I love that one. I really want to be long a lot of that stuff by the time it gets up there. And the way the strat works, we will be adding and looking for this thing to expand as long as we can get above last month's highs and stay above it, 4402. If we look at the 15er, where did we grab those longs earlier? Right here. So 42.53. And now, last half hour of the day, here's your rev strat that we talked about, way down here, right? So you can anticipate things if you know what you're doing. So it's similar to ICT, but strat, right? So here's your 2-2, 1, 2 down, 2 up. That's your rev strat. It should go instantly because of the failed move over here. And if it does, then you look for this to get taken out, you look for the new high day to be met, and then close that month 3-2 in force. And as long as it closes above that month, then we're good the rest of the month. So the next couple weeks, we look for this thing to expand further. So AI, that's top of my list. You go to PLTR, you're going to see similar. So PLTR 3-2 month, like I posted last month, this thing stays 3-2 month, this thing's going to get. Why is it going to? Because the top of your chart is back here, 44.95. And if that seems unreasonable, I would just like to show you Tesla. So if you go to the yearly on Tesla, same thing we're trading through. Obviously, it's not going back through previous range when we're looking over here, but when you get 3 2s that expand, those 3, that's the TTO. This is the expansion, right? So the 3 gets everyone all messed up, and you're like, where'd that move come from? And then it takes off, and you're like, shit. So we go to PLTR. It's that same idea. It's close to yearly trigger above 1892. Above that, you got the all year to try and get back up to 45s. And just so you guys know, we've talked a lot about different concepts and stuff. I used to trade PLTR all the time, so let's find this. Yeah, so broadening formations are a joke. PLTR, hold my beer. And this is just me making a joke about coming off all-time lows, going to all-time highs. But what I said here is important. Waiting for the quarterly and yearly before I'm in this. And the importance there is PLTR is about to give the yearly this year. If we can get above 18.7 or 18 like 85, 92, whatever it is, then there's the yearly. That's what we're going to be long, because by definition, this went 2-2 reversal. These 2 bars went outside of this bar. Now this is going 2-2 reversal to come back, go outside, back through all of that stuff. So back up to 45.31. Give me that, please. So AI and PLTR, 2 really good ones. Oracle, this was at the beginning of the year. You can see hammer to the upside. Cat potentially is one that's retriggering the year, for example. So you go here, you can see inside month and up, boom, get. You go to the 3 month, that's quarterly hammer if it doesn't go outside quarter next quarter. So at the end of this month, if it goes 2-2, that's a long entry into the yearly signal. Also BA. So this is one we talked about going into this month because of what? Your potential 2-2 reversal on the hammer and 12, 6 month, 3 month continuity. So here's your 2-2 reversal right there, 208.34. Go to the daily. You can see, stop them out. These 3 bars go outside of this stuff, so they take out the stops here. And then here's your 2-2 reversal back up, inside bar add, now another inside bar, see if they can go tomorrow. And the importance there is, you're on BA, 1, 2 down, this is your rev strat to try and take that out, 278.08. I wouldn't keep that one longer than this year, just because 278, if it can get above that 276.86 and stay above that, then we can go and aim for further stuff. But since it's inside year at the beginning, we need to go 2 up in the year, and we need to see that hold so we can go to 280. So those are a couple things we're looking at. Mostly AI PLTR. That would be what I'm looking at. Secondary to that, charge point, retrade of the month off the all-time lows. If green energy is going to be this huge thing, then do you think they're doing any better in 2021 than they are any better now that compared to 2021? If so, then they're going back above those highs. Only issue is you're going to see two down a year, so that needs to get really green for that to happen. But if you're looking for investment stuff, what you look for is things that are above last year's highs, because if that's happening, I'll make a scan quickly for you guys. It's really beautiful how simple it is, and I just love Rob for that. But let me save scan query. So we're gonna have a lot of stocks to go over, but just kind of tab through them. So if we go to just do this. So we go here. These are all the things taken out last year's highs. The importance of that is these things are taking out last year's highs, right? So they're buying it more aggressive this year than they were last year. By definition, cannot not be true. So if that's the case, then this is your list of stocks to be looking at. So we look at CAT, last year's highs, right? We look at CLH, boom. What do we know about threes? TTO, aggression, boom, just like Tesla. If you have Tesla on the year, if you're a stratter back in the day, here's your 3-2 year, and you're long that thing all year, all this year, and then new yearly continuity. You can see it goes red for the first 3 months, and then 6 months, and then they go 2-2. But now potential 3, so 50% rule. They're trying to go back to 403. But ABC, that one's just continuation. So you can see 3-1-2 to the upside, 2-2-2. They're still going, so that's how you invest. If we go to COTY, you can see REV Strat hammer year in force. That one's trying to come off all-time lows, go back to all-time highs. ADI, 2-2 hammer year, boom, hits magnitude. Apple, we already know that one's outside year, which means next year, Apple, you want to know about that. CAH, that one's just continuation. LOY, continuation, and look at that. TTO, 2-2 reversal, 2-2-2-2-2-2, all the way up. XLR, 3-2 years. So that one's still got all year to be 3-2 years. So what do we want to look for? Monthly signals to confirm that. Currently inside month. So maybe next quarter they might go and stop them out and then get. And FSLR, that one's going up here. And the beautiful thing about this is there's clips of Rob from I believe it was in 2015, talking about FSLR right here going back up here. So this is all true. It all works. So it's going back up there. As long as the yearly continues to stay up at 3-2, look for 309 on the FSLR, which tells you to look at the rest of solar, right? And green energy stuff, which is why we look at charge point and other things like that move a bit better right now. But go GE, that one's hammer year in force, and look at that. 2-2 hammer year. Our energy's good. They are. You go to LVS. That was one you can see REV Strat alongside WIN, which is also REV Strat year. So we know those things are trying to go. But go on the week, they're just being really slow. So maybe later this week they'll try and take it off up to here. But last week I took some positions, got stopped out of some. This week we'll just have to wait and see what they try and do. But pretty good examples. There you go. Royal Caribbean. It's like, oh, the cruise lines are ripping. It's like, well, no shit. You're taking out last year's highs. You go to the monthly. Here's your hammer month right there. And we've been trading RCL off of what? We had the daily try right here. So this was where we got some positions. Sadly, I did not hold them because I got stopped out in here. But we did have this hammer day that we got into and let them run a bit. Same if you go to like banks. We got C right here, ran a bit, still trying to go. Etc. So yearly signals, those are where you want to be looking. And UAL, it's like that one just took the year up. So all airlines, cruise lines taking the year up right now. That's important to know. And there's not much else. Pan W, we traded that one not long ago, but 3 years. So next year, you want to watch out. You want to know about that. And you can see 3-2 aggressive. So hopefully that answers your question as far as investment stuff goes. And if you're looking for the scan, it's just close over previous year high on Thinkorswim. And hopefully we'll have that built into the stats site at some time. But currently not a big priority. Time frame continuity, this is by TFO. So time frame continuity and then TFO. You do slash time frame continuity and then type it in. It'll come up. AI is taken off? Not really. You can see it took out the previous hour's highs and it's not really doing anything, which another part of the strats, like you can get stopped out. If I was sitting here managing this position, I would have stopped out in this 5 or down. But now we can look at it and say, where's that potential 3 going to form if they're going to try and retrigger? We have 10 minutes though, so I'm not going to be trading this. But if they're going to try and retrigger, this 2-2 reversal, potential 3 goes to here. The last try would be something like this. So probably have to see if I have to stop out. So 2-2 reversal, they took out this low. Now can they buy it up on the next 5? Or if they do, then I'll hold on to it into the overnight session. But if not, then probably not. Explain why Beyond had a month. Beyond's a pretty one at the lows. So all-time lows Beyond, this is exhaustion risk right down here. And you can see they made new highs compared to these highs. Slight lower lows, the 3-2. So 3, that gives you your try. They go 2 down, they go 2 up. This all goes outside of this 3. Then they come back through 2-2. So if we're looking at Beyond, comes into the bottom of the try last month. New monthly participants open. So they were selling it. New month opens, boom. Anyone that thought it was a short, killed. You go to the week, what do you have there? See 1, 2 up, 2 down. So didn't quite go and take out the low of this candle, which is what I would have preferred. But here's your hammer actual signal on the week, and then look at that squeeze, because anyone short this thing from here, they had no reason to exit until that happened, right? And then look at that squeeze, and they're still getting it because your try sits way up here. So if they're going to continue moving, this is your broadening information to go and take out that. And if we do, we're going to do it using the quarterly hammer counter shooter. You see, look at NVIDIA, it's just a mess. And this is where, if you take the 5 down here, once it starts kind of chopping like this, you can just partial into those highs, and then your stops just go break even. And if they're still going to go in that tomorrow, you can hold into that because the week is in force still. So weekly magnitude still sits up there at 419 on NVIDIA. So hopefully we can see that later this week. But we are getting close to the end of this, so any last questions, feel free to ask. But I do have an appointment at 3 now, so I've got a little bit of time left, but not too much. Who made the strat numbers indicator? I believe it's just trader creator, simple strat numbers. There's a lot of different ones. This is just the one I use because it just puts the numbers on the chart for you guys. Swings into tomorrow. I'll be holding AI. That's about it. And if you're not long from where I'm long on AI, then I wouldn't suggest it. Because we're long way down here. So that's where we're long. You can, if you go tomorrow, it's like go on the 4-hour. What's going to happen tomorrow? 212 more than likely. So you can take it off the 4-hour tomorrow if it doesn't gap. But I want to be long AI with runners. I personally don't like to swing anything that I'm not in profit in just because things gap, things happen, right? More often than not, time from continuity will help you out. You're not going to get the big gaps against you, but it's still a possibility. So you have to manage your risk accordingly. But as far as swings, I don't really just enter swings in the afternoon. Sometimes I'll do lottos if there's specific news events or whatnot. But into tomorrow, I just have runners. I have AI and I believe charge point. Yeah, AI charge point, and I have some PLTR position from a while ago. which that was for the monthly. So that I think is going to end off the stream. So hopefully this stuff was beneficial for you guys. There's a lot of questions, so there's a lot of. Sorry, I was looking at the chat, but there's a lot of questions and stuff. Great questions. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you do, please like the stream and like the tweet that I said about the stream, because the more you guys like it, the more I want to sit down and help you guys out. So until then, I will see you guys probably in the next stream, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.